get ready to really deep dive into Parasite.
Yeah.
It's a film that's, earned global acclaim and really sparked a lot of conversations
Oh, yeah, for sure.
at class and society. And we've got, a stack of articles and reviews, think pieces for this one.
Cool.
And trust me, this isn't your average movie night recap.
Right.
We're going to go beyond the plot and really uncover the layers of meaning that Bong Joon-ho just masterfully weaves into every single frame.
I think what's so fascinating about this film is that it manages to be both like a gripping thriller.
Oh, totally.
But also a really sharp critique of social structures.
Yeah.
And he uses dark humor as like his scalpel.
Exactly. And, right away,
Yeah.
we're introduced to these two families. You've got the Kims struggling in their semi-basement apartment,
Right.
folding pizza boxes just to make ends meet.
Holding pizza bots.
And then you have the Parks in this opulent, like architecturally stunning home.
Totally.
So visually, it's just this stark representation of, the haves and the have-nots, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And that contrast isn't just about money either, right?
Yeah.
It's about their entire perception of the world.
Right.
The Kims are acutely aware of where they stand in the hierarchy, while the Parks seem completely oblivious, living in their little bubble of privilege.
Yeah, and you see that play out even in, like, how they react to everyday things.
Oh, yeah.
Like the smell.
The smell, yeah.
That clings to the Kim family.
Right.
The Parks are disgusted by it. They reference it multiple times.
Yeah.
It's almost as if, like, poverty itself is a contagious disease.
Oh, for sure.
But for the Kims, it's just their reality.
It's just life. That's it.
It's life, yeah.
I think it's a brilliant way that Bong Joon-ho kind of exposes this ingrained prejudice against the lower class. That smell becomes a symbol of their social standing. Almost like this
Totally.
mark of their otherness in the eyes of the elite.
Wait, so let's unpack how the Kim family actually infiltrates the Park household, because it's like a series of just audacious schemes, each one more elaborate than the last.
Totally.
We've got Ki-woo becoming Kevin, the English tutor.
Right.
Ki-jung transforms into Jessica, the art therapist.
Yeah.
And they even fabricate scandals to oust the existing staff.
It's amazing.
I mean...
Yeah, their ingenuity is both impressive and unsettling.
Yeah.
It speaks to their desperation, but also highlights their resourcefulness, like how quickly they can adapt and manipulate to get what they need. Are they villains? Are they victims? I think Bong Joon-ho deliberately blurs those lines.
He does, and he does it with such a dark humor.
Oh, yeah.
1 minute you're cringing at their, like, morally ambiguous actions,
Totally.
and then the next you're just, like, laughing at the absurdity
Yeah.
of the situation that they've created.
It's so true. And that humor is crucial.
Yeah.
Because it makes the audience complicit.
Right.
We find ourselves rooting for the Kims even as they deceive this family.
Yeah.
Which forces us to kind of confront our own biases about class and success.
It's like he's holding a mirror up to society and saying, look at how easily we're entertained by the struggles of others.
Exactly. And just when you think you've got a handle on the whole dynamic, Bong Joon-ho throws in another layer of complexity.
Oh, yeah.
Moon Gwang, the housekeeper, and her husband Gun-se living secretly in the basement.
Whoa, talk about a twist, right?
I know.
It's like this hidden world beneath the surface of this already luxurious home.
I think that's where the theme of societal hierarchy really gets amplified.
Yeah.
Gun-se literally living underground, becomes this symbol of the invisible underclass.
Right.
The people who are completely marginalized and forgotten.
Their existence just adds this whole other dimension of tension and suspense to the film.
Yeah.
You realize the stakes are even higher than you initially thought.
Absolutely. And remember how Gun-se interacts with Mr. Park? There's this strange mix of reverence and resentment.
Oh, yeah.
As if he both idolizes and despises this wealthy host.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating power dynamic that speaks volumes about the complexities of class relations.
It really does make you think about how each character navigates this web of social hierarchies.
Totally.
Even within the Kim family, there's a pecking order.
Right.
It's like Bong Joon-ho is saying that these systems of power and oppression are so pervasive that they infiltrate like every aspect of our lives.
That's a really astute observation. And as the film progresses, we see that these lines between the families, between these classes, start to blur even further.
Yeah.
The Kims, through their deception, become increasingly entangled in the lives of the Parks.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequences just become more and more dire.
Right, the tension keeps building and building and building.
Totally.
And then comes that pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Moon-wang returns.
She's back.
And the secret of the basement bunker is revealed.
It's a turning point, right?
Yes.
The carefully constructed facade starts to crumble, and everything just spirals out of control.
And from there, it's a roller coaster ride of suspense, dark humor, and ultimately tragedy.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll save that for part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. We've just, uncovered all those layers of societal critique and dark humor in that first half of Parasite.
A lot to unpack, right?
I know, but things are going to get even more intense from here.
Oh, yeah. Buckle up.
Do you remember that carefully orchestrated facade that the Kim family built is starting to crack?
Yeah, the return of Moon-gwang and the revelation of that basement bunker.
Right.
It's like a seismic shift.
Oh, yeah.
Shaking the foundation of both families' worlds.
And then it all explodes during Dae-sung's birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a celebration gone wrong.
It's pure chaos.
Yeah.
You see Gun-se make this, desperate attempt to escape his underground prison.
Right.
Then this brutal fight and the tragic consequences just leave everyone reeling.
It really is just a whirlwind of violence and emotion. But Bong Joon-ho, he doesn't let us look away.
No, he doesn't.
He forces us to confront the raw consequences of the class conflict that he's so meticulously built up.
And in the middle of all this chaos,
yeah,
we have that shocking moment.
I know.
When Ki-taek, driven to the brink, kills Mr. Park.
Yeah, I have to admit that scene left me speechless.
It's intense.
It's such a sudden, violent act.
Yeah.
But I found myself grappling with this strange mix of emotions.
Right.
Horror, of course.
Right.
But also a sliver of understanding.
Right, you get it.
For Ki-taek's desperation.
That's the brilliance of Bong Joon-ho's direction, though, right?
Yes.
He doesn't give us easy answers.
Right.
Or moral judgments.
No.
He presents us with these flawed, complex characters driven by their circumstances.
Right.
And forces us to wrestle with those gray areas of morality.
You start to question everything.
I know.
Who are the real parasites? Is it the Kim family exploiting the park's wealth?
Yeah.
Or is it the system itself perpetuating these vast inequalities? Right.
That drive people to these desperate measures.
Exactly. And the film doesn't let up on that ambiguity, even in the ending.
Right.
We see Ki-taek hiding in the very bunker that imprisoned Jin-se.
Wow.
Almost like he's inheriting that mantle of the forgotten underclass.
It's a powerful visual metaphor.
Oh, it is.
He's gone full circle back to the darkness that he tried so desperately to escape.
Meanwhile, Ki-woo, having survived this whole ordeal, discovers his father's coded messages.
Oh, yes.
Flickering through the house's security system.
Wow.
And these messages, filled with longing and regret, offer this glimpse into Ki-taek's just shattered hopes.
It's heartbreaking to witness that father-son connection.
Oh, it is?
Just screened by circumstance.
Yeah. But then we see Ki-woo make this vow. He's going to work hard, earn enough money to buy the house.
Wow.
And finally free his father.
It's a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape.
It isn't, but the question remains.
I know.
Is it a realistic goal?
Or simply a desperate fantasy?
Yeah.
A coping mechanism for all this trauma he's endured.
That ambiguity is what makes the ending so powerful.
It really does.
Right. Bong Joon-ho doesn't give us this neat resolution or a tidy moral lesson.
No, he doesn't.
He leaves us with that lingering question. Can Ki-woo truly break the cycle of poverty?
Right.
Or is he destined to repeat his father's fate?
Exactly. The film does not shy away from the harsh realities of social mobility.
No, it doesn't.
It acknowledges these systemic barriers that make upward mobility nearly impossible for a lot of people.
It's like that scholar stone, the one that Ki-woo receives as a gift.
Right.
Supposed to bring wealth and prosperity.
Yeah.
But it ends up being more of a burden.
Totally.
Weighing him down, a constant reminder of the false promises.
Right.
Of the American dream narrative.
And remember those stairs?
Oh, yeah.
Leading up from the Kim's basement apartment?
Uh-huh.
They're not just a physical obstacle.
No.
They represent this insurmountable climb out of poverty.
Every step, a struggle. A reminder of how far they have to go to even glimpse that world that the parks inhabit.
It's a powerful reminder that individual effort, while important, often isn't enough.
It's not.
To overcome these deeply ingrained societal structures.
And even if Ki-woo were to achieve this goal of buying the house, would it really erase the trauma, the guilt, the sense of displacement that's become woven into their lives?
That's a question that lingers long after the credits roll.
It really does.
And I think that's precisely what Bong Joon-ho intended.
He's given us this film that's both a thrilling spectacle and a profound social commentary.
Yes.
It's a film that stays with you, prompting you to question your own assumptions, your own place in the world, and the systems that shape our lives.
So we've explored the intricate plot twists.
We have.
The shocking violence, the ambiguous ending. But Parasite is also a film rich with symbolism.
Oh, yeah.
Each detail so carefully chosen to enhance the storytelling.
So join us for part 3, where we'll unpack the visual metaphors that make this film such a cinematic masterpiece. Welcome back for our final act of our Parasite deep dive. We've really dissected the plot, analyzed the characters, confronted those uncomfortable truths about class and society that Bong Joon-ho just exposes so brilliantly.
There's a lot there.
I know, but this film is like an onion.
It is.
Just layers upon layers of meaning.
Layers upon layers, and it's a visual feast, too.
It is.
Every shot, every object is so meticulously crafted to tell a story, often without even a single word spoken.
Okay, so let's peel back some of those layers. What are some of the key visual metaphors that stand out to you?
Well, the houses themselves are more than just settings.
Right.
They're characters in this story.
Yeah.
You've got the Kim's semi-basement, practically submerged in the city.
Right.
And then you contrast that with the park's modern, sun-drenched home perched high on a hill.
Yeah, it's almost like they inhabit different worlds, barely aware of the other's existence.
Right. And even within those homes,
the
vertical spaces become significant.
Yeah, the Kims are constantly looking up.
Yes.
Literally and figuratively striving for something beyond on their subterranean existence.
Remember those long, steep stairs leading up from their apartment?
Oh, yeah. Those stairs are practically a metaphor for their whole struggle.
They are.
Every step, just a reminder of how far they have to climb to reach even a glimpse of the park's lifestyle.
And then there's the way Bong Joon-ho uses light and shadow.
Oh, yeah.
To highlight that class divide. The Kims often dwell in these, dimly lit spaces while the parks bathe in natural sunlight.
Like that scene where the Kim family is huddled around a single light bulb.
Yes.
Desperately trying to steal Wi-Fi.
Stealing Wi-Fi?
From their neighbors.
Yeah, you really see their resourcefulness, but also just how vulnerable they are.
Totally. And then remember how the heavy rain affects each family so differently?
Oh, yeah, totally.
For the Kims, it's a disaster.
It is?
Flooding their home, pushing them further into despair. But for the parks, it's like a romantic backdrop.
It is.
An excuse to camp out in their pristine living room.
Totally. It's almost like nature itself is conspiring against the poor.
It is.
Reinforcing those systemic barriers that they face.
And speaking of nature, let's talk about the recurring motif of rocks.
Okay.
There's that scholar's stone.
Yes.
That Min-hyuk gifts to Ki-woo, supposedly a symbol of wealth and good fortune.
Right, but it ends up being more of a burden.
It does.
Literally weighing him down as he tries to escape those rising floodwaters.
It's a brilliant metaphor for that false promise of upward mobility.
Totally.
This object that was meant to elevate him ultimately just drags him down.
And then there's that chilling scene where Gun-se, trapped in the basement bunker, is communicating with the outside world by tapping on the pipes.
It's like he's literally underground sending Morse code messages.
He is.
Like a ghost in the machine, invisible to those living above him.
It's such a powerful representation of the forgotten underclass.
Right.
Their voices silenced, their struggles unseen.
Bong Joon-ho uses these visual metaphors to really drive home his message, prompting us to look beyond the surface and confront the uncomfortable realities of our own society.
It's not just about entertainment. It's about provoking thought and sparking conversation.
Yeah.
Challenging our assumptions about class privilege and the systems that just perpetuate inequality.
And in the end, Parasite leaves us with this lingering sense of unease.
It does.
Can we truly escape those cycles of poverty and exploitation?
Right.
Can we bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots?
Those are questions we all need to grapple with.
We do.
Both individually and as a society.
And while Bong Joon-ho doesn't offer any easy answers, he's given us a masterpiece that compels us to engage in those conversations.
They have.
To look deeper and to strive for a more just and equitable world.
And that's the power of great art, isn't it?
It is.
It challenges us, provokes us, and ultimately inspires us to be more aware, more empathetic, and more engaged citizens.
We encourage you watch Parasite.
Yes.
Discuss it with your friends and let the conversations continue.
Keep them going.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.